Welcome back, everybody. Before we begin, if you haven't seen the first video yet, please watch that first. This one will make a lot more sense as a result. We're going to be talking about the addition stages that we've covered in grade 4 thus far this year. We've talked about in our previous video moving from the pictorial stage to the symbolic stage, and today we're going to be talking about place value and then moving on to standard algorithm. We're going to begin stage 2 by creating a chart where we're going to list our ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands, just the way you see on the screen. We're going to take our two numbers that we're adding together and we're going to place them one on top of the other, making sure that our thousands are grouped together in one column, the hundreds are grouped together in one column, the tens will go together in one column, and the ones will go together in one column. This is important. Even when there are zeros inside of our number, like 1,505, there are 0 tens, we still need to put those tens together so that we're not confused. This next step is where I have put down all of the zeros that I know will be placeholders for my tens, hundreds, and my thousands. Tens have a 0 in the ones place, hundreds will have a 0 in the ones and tens place, thousands will have a 0 holding place in the ones, tens, and hundreds. I'm underlining the 0 placeholders because that's simply what they are, as placeholders. If I underline them, then I won't be confused if all of a sudden two of my numbers add up to 10. I won't put the 1 down and then say, well, I've already got a 0 there. The next stage is where I use my knowledge of expanded notation to make sure that I'm still separating my ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. When I add my ones together, my 5 and 5, I get 10, and I can put only one digit in each column. So for a 10, I'll have 1 in the tens column and a 0 in the ones column. For my tens, which I'm going to add up next, we always move from right to left when we're doing this kind of addition. There are simply two tens, and I can just write down that two tens right there. The important part of this stage is making sure that I'm doing the place value separate. So my hundreds is going to be 11 hundreds. So hundreds will have 0 in the ones place, 0 in the tens place, and then I'll have 11, which leaves that first 1 under the hundreds, and I'll have to put that other 1 underneath the thousands. Finally, I'll be adding 2,000s plus 1,000, and that will leave me with 3,000s in that bottom row there as well. You can see the thinking that goes along with this. It connects to our expanded notation that we learned in the stage 1. And as you can see, once the chart has been completed, all we need to do now is add up the rows of ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and we will have a total of 4,130. Our final stage of addition is the standard algorithm. This is where we're just going to take the two numbers that we're adding together, place them one on top of the other, again making sure that our place value columns are lined up correctly. We'll be adding the first two numbers together. Now it should look like this based on stage 2, however that 1 actually doesn't belong there anymore. We're actually going to clean things up a little bit down below, and that 110 can actually go into up above the tens column. Once we move that 10 up above into the above the tens column, we'll be able to add those three tens together and simply place them into the tens place value right beside the 0. We've added our ones and we've added our tens, and now we need to add our hundreds. 6 hundreds plus 5 hundreds is 11 hundreds. We need to put the first 1 right underneath the hundreds, but that 11 means that there is a 10 and a 100. So 10 hundreds is actually 1,000, which means that we need to place it up above the thousands column like this. The final stage of our job here is going to be to add the thousands together. We now have 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 1,000 for a total of 4,000. And what you'll be able to see now is that this is a neat and tidy, quick version of a way to add two large numbers together. You can use this for 3 numbers, 4 numbers, however many numbers you want. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and hopefully you learned something.